Hey, morning VC. Yeah, just thought I'd knock this out before the stack gets any crazier. I tried to do this really quick because I am slammed with all kinds of crap. Um, been studying for my PMP. Hopefully, got my approval to take the damn test. But yeah, I got to knock out that study time because having a hard time finding it. This is going to be a really weird stack too because I don't know, it's partially study music, background music, partially kind of nostalgia trippy kind of stuff because actually yesterday my parents sold the childhood home, so the last week I've been like yanking stuff out of the house and helping clean the house. And, this a lot of stuff was just kind of nostalgia stuff I threw on. Anyway, jumping in. I know I've shown this before many times, probably. Liz Rosella's Denudes Oz tapes. This came out, I think, October, November. I think I pre-ordered this around last March or something. Um, so probably my favorite. I've shown this many times. So Japanese psych by the way of they were very influenced by the very first Blue Cheer and Velvet Underground, the the more out there early stuff. Highly recommend it. Five if not 5.5 all day long. Probably my favorite. French demo is probably the second, but I did order the new official releases they just came out with. I kind of missed the boat on the vinyl on the live album, so I ordered the CD. But it's like for 3 discs. I'm not crazy about 3 LPs because it's a lot of flipping, and I just don't play them. So the 3 discer, I tried to order it on CD. I'll see if I get it. I pre-ordered it, yeah, the other two I got the vinyls for the single albums on the way. So I did listen to the digital files, but I don't know. I was not as impressed with those albums compared to a lot of their other bootleg ones. Their bootlegs are really the way to go, other than the Oz tapes. Anyway, this was a recommendation by Sean. I don't know. It's yeah, new. What do you call it? Yeah, it's kind of like a experimental post punky kind of thing. I definitely need to give another listen. Um, this guy's, I think people were a little overly ambitious and gave it like a 5 on the ratings, but this had a pressing of less than 300. Definitely not a 5. I don't know. I'm hovering around 3.5. It needs another listen. It's yeah, sorry, Sean. It's okay, but I don't know. I needed to rush out and get that, but yeah, at least it was cheap. That's the only reason I ordered it, because it was super cheap. It was like, I'll take a chance. So definitely need another listen. Some of those things are definitely growers that you've passed my way. Um, yep. So picked this up a couple weeks ago because I saw it on sale. Still was a little pricey, but yeah, I've been wanting to get this for a while. I don't know. I finally found one reasonably priced. So Germs MIA, so it includes basically their full LP, and it's supposed to have their complete discography, but it is missing some versions and stuff. But got multiple versions of a couple songs. I think there's like 2 versions of Lexicon Devil or something like that. Yeah, there's at least 2 versions of Lexicon Devil. But yeah, yeah, it's a pretty good comp. So I have to check. I don't know why they did that. It's kind of I want to go this way, but yeah. Anyway, so it's worthwhile. I don't know. You can get this comp for the same price as their other album. It has I think you need. Which one did you need? I think Round and Round is kind of essential, which doesn't fall on the album, but yeah. It gives me. I'll give it a 4.5. So it's like that proto hardcore stuff, and Germs. This I picked up in Japan. It's actually a boot. I think it's got an official re-release recently. So more psych stuff. I want to say I think this is one of those ones. There's a lot of those ones with the kind of the woman vocals with the Sexual Ecstasy. I think that falls onto this one too. I seem to be picking up a lot of those unintentionally. But anyway, um, yeah, like your, what's it called? Like electric, oh, shoot, what was that one called? Anyway, um, not intentional, but it's a pretty solid one. 4.5. You can get the reissues. I think I pay like $20 for this boot. It's actually a pretty clean boot. But originally I think it was on like MCA or something. Oh, Capital. Yeah, it was originally on Capital, but I think the originals are kind of hard to come by. Yeah, this Sean sent me. I forgot to show this last week. Jackknife. So I guess he sent me his play copy because it says play copy. Yeah, this is a pretty solid one. Yeah, 19. Okay, he wrote his notes on here. 1992 garage rock. Yep. So it's like garage rock, garage punk. So pretty raw. One song's like less than a minute, I think, and the other song's probably like a 3 or 4 minute one. Pretty solid album. I really like this one. So thank you, Sean. If it's not a 5, it's pretty damn close. Yeah, I picked this up in Japan a long time ago. I do need to add this to Discogs. It's I'm not gonna bother opening it. It's too hard. It's a stupid Blake sleeves. But it's Steve Lacy along with Tasuhiko Togashi, who is so he's like a what do you call it? Is it paraplegic? He can't use his legs. He was in some kind of car accident early in his career. So drummer. He has a pretty crazy drum kit. He can go from very eastern to very western pretty fast. His stuff with Don Cherry is probably the most solid stuff. There was one with Lacey and Don Cherry, which I do need to get, but it's probably not his best. This one is, again, not one of his best, but it's decent. I think these go for some money. I don't know. I definitely paid up for it, but back in the day, at the time, it was one of the more expensive albums I bought because it's just, you don't see it, and I've never seen it since. But I've never seen this one. It's not on Discogs. I need to add it. There is the normal version on Discogs. This is like it's like a complete white label promo. Just says demo on it, and that's all it is. So I need to add that. But not the best, not the worst, but at least I'd say it's a pretty solid 4. This one, Hammered Holes, Discord rather. So this is was Alec McKay's latest band. It came out back in October. I missed the boat because it sold out like within a month. So this is the second pressing, which came out like maybe a month ago. The second pressing is on blue vinyl. It's actually a pretty cool blue vinyl. Like a almost, I think it's marble actually. It's like a, yeah. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, so it's kind of like a black. I don't think, maybe the marble wasn't intentional. It has like a little bit of a black marble in there, but like a bright cobalt blue. It's a pretty cool color. It has a booklet with the lyrics, but it's pretty classic sounding. Yeah, it would not. Yeah, this would go pretty nicely with your, say, Fugazi. It's that kind of 90s, little bit math rocky hardcore or post-hardcore, whatever you want to call it. But it has that kind of classic 90s Discord sound. Pretty damn solid album, at least a 4.5. Worth checking out. Hammered Holes. They do have a 7-inch that came out right before that, which I still think you can get at a reasonable price, but it might also be out of print. Don Caballero, I know this shows up in the VC a lot. This is what I think it's just called. I think it's like their third album or something. What Burns Never Returns. It has like, you can go up or down. I think it's the actual title's the Burn one. What Burns Never Returns. But all instrumental, makes for good study music. Yeah, very bass heavy, math rock, whatever's. A little on the heavier side of that. Yeah, 4.5-ish is pretty solid. One of my absolute favorite Sonic Youth albums, Spinhead Sessions, 1986. These were like the sessions that led into the Made in USA soundtrack, which is also one of my favorites. I would give this a little bit of an edge over the actual soundtrack because the soundtrack, has limitations. Because it's a soundtrack or a score. I don't know if that was considered the score or the soundtrack, but anyway. I think that would be considered a soundtrack because it had vocals, but anyway. Whatevers. Highly recommend that one. 5 all day long. I think I sent a copy to Sean of that one. Yeah. I don't even know this dude's name. But I think the style of music is called Ryokoko or something. But it's basically Japanese throat singing. Picked this up at a thrift store in Japan. Yeah, dude looks he looks like one of those frogs out of Spirited Away or something, if you know that movie. But yeah, this is a pretty solid album. A lot of very interesting listen. I think that's a boat on the water, but yeah, I would call that like Japanese throat singing. Another one, I've shown this before, kind of goes between, yeah, it's kind of exotica / jazz. He has one other album which I'm kind of tempted to try to hunt down, but I really love this album. Michael Hartofilis and his orchestra, Greek Fire. So, yeah, so orchestra, exotica / jazz. It's got half covers. Like the Miserlou on this is freaking amazing. Highly recommend this if you see it. I don't think they go for a ton of money, but they do. Yeah, they didn't get a lot of represses of this one, so if you, I don't know, I picked it up for like 50 cents or something, but on the other, if you order it from Discogs, I think they go for like 20-ish or something, but I actually really like this album. I listened to it a lot. So Greek Fire, Michael Hartofilis. Yeah, I'd go as far as like 4.5 on that easily. Yep, and I was into the nostalgia. So Linda Ronstadt, Living in the USA, pretty classic. Had that really cool cover of Allison on it, which is worth the price of admission. Picked this up a while back, thrifting. Nice clean copy of Silk Purse, classic. This one that's got, oh shoot, she had one of her really big ones on here. Will You Love Me Tomorrow, I guess, was the biggest one on there. Here, getting back into the cool stuff. High Rise, Psychedelic Speed Freaks, 84, 85. If you're going to get one of their albums, I would go with High Rise 2. This one's still pretty interesting. So, paid about 35 bucks on this one in Japan. So this is a Japanese pressing. It's kind of bright yellow vinyl. There's a little bit of a marble to it. So pretty cool. So yeah, Japanese 80s psychedelia in the same kind of vein as Les Rosales de Nudes. Pretty rough recordings. Not as good as Les Rosales, but still pretty good. But definitely, High Rise 2 is definitely the way to go. But that one's still a pretty solid 4. And that album's pretty damn rare. Radios, this was a reissue from probably like 5 years ago. Actually, yeah, kind of friendly with a lot of the band here. So this is one of the Team Generate spin-offs. This is, if you like, this is the one that's closest to Team Generate in sound. I bought like 1 or 2 of their 7 inches, and they have like 2 or 3 albums. I think this is the middle album. The demos I think are really good too. That's harder to find. Is this one essential? Probably not, but it's a pretty solid 4. It's one I really wanted for a while. It rocks pretty hard. Radios, it's power pop-ish. Like even I think Team Generate consider themselves power pop, but it's a little on the harder edge, like much more than some of the other spin-offs. So Radios, highly recommend that if you do like Team Generate. Got a stack of CDs, just try to get these fast, and I'm going to upload this and get back to my studying. Sadistic Mika Band, their first album. This used to be like a few years ago. I used to see this in the bins all the time. When I went back to Japan, I tried to find it in the bins. I gave up and I just ordered the CD. The nice thing with the CD is this is one of those albums that came with a 7-inch, so a lot of times the 7-inch is missing. So this one has the 7-inch obviously because it's a CD. It would fall somewhere. It's Japanese. They don't exactly pigeonhole when they're getting into that more alternative stuff. It kind of goes between glam rock and prog. The name is kind of like a take on Plastic Ono Band. They were trying to be funny. At least I think that was the story. I think all the vocals are in Japanese though on this guy, so it might not be for everyone. But pretty solid album, 4.5 all day long. This one and the one after it are really good. You can stream this on YouTube. They're pretty wild live. I think they had a little bit of a following in UK. The UK album cover is actually pretty cool if you see it. But this, I bought this in Japan. The OB strip's just inside. I don't feel like pulling it out. But yeah, this CD. This is the newer CD reissues. It's not that hard to get. And it's not terribly expensive. But the vinyl used to be cheap and easy to get, and I wish I bought it back then. But, yeah. This is the late 2004 reissue of King Crimson's first. Don't need to really talk about it too much. So 5 all day long. So 24-bit remaster. So this on CD, this is it's the HD CD release, so it's probably the one to get. Pretty solid if you get the CD. It's strange, I've never gotten on vinyl. Like back in the day, I used to always look for the vinyl in the 90s. I guess nowadays there's like a million reissues, but I'm happy with that. Finally, pulled the trigger on this. I wish I bought it while it was still available new, because it was in my Amazon cart for ages. But I waited too long, and now these go for a premium. The prices are all over the place, but I think I paid 20-ish for this. So Dick's 80 through 86, so pretty essential. Were they California? I think they were California. California or Texas, but I want to say California. So if you like stuff like the Big Boys and that kind of they kind of skirting the edge between punk and hardcore, like the Germs. Dick's Hate the Police, the essential ones at the bookstore, or Saturday night at the bookstore. Yeah, No Fucking War is awesome. But the 86 stuff, they're starting to kind of taper off a bit. A lot of lineup changes, but I would consider this pretty essential. This is Alternative Tentacles. Their first single and their first album are definitely essential. But yeah, if you got this, you got them. So Dick's 80, 86, 4.5 all day long. Pick this comp up. I think this is like a thrift find, whatever, like $1. It's all solid. All the songs are solid. Five up across the board. Can you summarize Who in one album? This is not a one and done. One CD. Not a one and done. But it's a really good comp, but it's not a one and done. Who's next? I might be done. Needs their first 7-inch on that one. So I know I've shown this CD version of Time Out, Take 5. I think this is called Time Out, right? Yeah. Time Out, Take 5 is the big single off it. Essential one. I have this on vinyl. I have this. I do think the CD does sound a little better. And then this was part of that. I don't know. I think it was from a radio station. They removed all the booklets. Can't get myself from not buying that whole box, man. Should have just gone and got the whole box. Wife was driving me nuts trying to get out the door. But this is Count Basie's Jazz Masters. This is probably a white one and done for Count Basie for me. I do kind of want that one with the nuclear bomb on it just because the cover's so cool. But yeah, that'd probably do me from a Count Basie. That's a pretty solid comp if you do see it. I am signing off here because I need to get some stuff done. So upload and done. Take care, guys.